Hey guys, we're playing Journey of Wrestling today, and if you don't know what this game is, it's like a wrestling booking game. It's not like a WWE 2K where it's you see the actual match. This is more this is just like storytelling, character uh, development, stuff like that. It's basically like a simulator overseer type game. It's really it's one of my favorite games, honestly. Some people might think this kind of game is boring, but I really like these kinds of games, and I figured I might as well record some and upload it because why not? And I have this universe that I've created with a bunch of different wrestlers, a bunch of different companies, all sorts of different factions, and I'm sure I'll get into all that. But for right now, I just want to jump into it, not ramble too much. I have a tendency to ramble a lot. So these videos are going to be minimal editing. Just like I might do one like once a week or something. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But my plan for each video is going to be I'm going to do the like 3 weekly shows, and then the whatever monthly event is at the end. And we'll kind of just see as we go along. I'll show more of the other companies and stuff, all that sort of stuff. So we're just gonna jump into this. This time we're gonna have two monthly events actually in this first episode because we're starting on a monthly event right now, Rise to Glory, and we're gonna end at the big event, All Out War for this company. This is a BWC. Um, Battleground Wrestling Championship. That's the company, and you'll see some of the. I'll show some more of the wrestlers later, but this is kind of like the Royal Rumble. There's a 30 man uh, battle royal at the end, and that will determine who faces the champion at All Out War. So we're just gonna jump right into it right now, so I don't ramble any more than I need to. All right, so here we have the first match, and we have the champion, the world champion, Frank the Great Flores. Remember this guy; he is the biggest star in the company right now. Frank the Great Flores. He has the championship, and he is facing Malachi Thorne, who's like a dark, evil sort of fella. So this is a world championship match right here, and it's gonna be starting off the show, and Frank the Great Flores is going to win and retain, and he will be keeping his championship. All right, next up we have the European Championship, European Champion. We're going to be crowning a new European Champion. Right now we have the German Giant versus Dave England. Dave England being the heel, German Giant being a lovable German fella, pretty large. So this is going to crown the new European champion since it's currently vacant, and we are going to have German Giant win. All right, German Giant, German Giant, new European champion. Boom. Next match, we have a triple threat to crown the new U.S. champion. So we're mainly crowning champions because I did just start this new game. So a lot of the championships are vacant. So we are going to be crowning a new U.S. championship. We have Nick Steele versus Alpha versus Jason the Barbarian Flores, and you might recognize his last name. He is the brother of Frank the Great Flores, who is the champion. So we have a triple threat here. Who will win? Who will win? Let's see. Alpha. Alpha will win. He will be the U.S. champion. All right, now we have the big show. We have the Rise to Glory match. This is a 30-man battle royale, and it is loaded, stacked to the brim. You can see a whole lot of names here. Don't worry, you don't have to worry about a lot of these guys right now. I'll introduce people more slowly, so not to overwhelm or anything. Uh, but the winner is the top star right now, Marco Lazzara. So he's like a mob boss type character. So he will face the champion at All Out War, the biggest show thing, WrestleMania. He's going to be facing possibly Frank the Great Flores to keep the championship at All Out War in the main event. So that is that show. All right, we are the #1 show of the month. These are the other companies. Once again, I will go more into these later on. I've made a full roster of wrestlers for all these companies, every single one of them, which has taken a long time, but it's really cool. Some of these other companies, we can do trades with them and stuff. I really love this game, dude. I really love this game. And this is the Wrestling Spectator. This is like a newsletter that tells you all the goings on in the world with all the different companies. I'm not going to read all this out right now, but it's all on screen. I'm going to scroll. If you want to pause it and read through all this, you are more than welcome to. But that is that. That is all. Nope, that is Rise to Glory. Now we're on the road to All Out War. All right, we're on to the weekly shows. I'm going to do 3 of these and then the event. So I'm going to try to run through them briefly, but you can skip the weekly shows if you just want to see the big event at the end of the month. That's fine. But first, I'm going to briefly run through some of the factions. I plan on going a lot more in depth later on, but I don't want this to be too long, so I'm just going to run through it quickly. So the Lazara family, this is led by Marco Lazara. He won the Rise to Glory. It's kind of like a mafia bad guy faction. All right. Wolfpack is led by Alpha. He is the U.S. champion. Another heel faction. And the Garden of Thorns. This is another heel faction, cults like, led by Malachi Thorn. Then here we have the Northern Lights. This is a good guy. Frank the Great Flores, Felix Frost, and they had another member named Chris Duval, but he left to go to another company. So they're basically good guys. Gladiators, bad guys. Jason Barbarian Flores, Patrick Peterson, and Cole the Hammer Howard. Pretty no nonsense type fellas. Then we have lower card factions here. We have Rage, led by Alvador Rage, and then the Vultures, sorry. And yep, so we're going to get into it. Alright, so the show starts with a promo battle with Frank the Great Flores and Marco Lazara. They are presumed to be fighting each other at All Out War. There we go, All Out War. So they have promo battle. They're kind of like at the top. They're the 1 and 2 of the company, basically. So then we have first fight. Starting off, we have Landon Morgan versus Cole the Hammer Howard. Of course, he is in the Gladiators. Landon Morgan, he's pretty old at this point, nearing the end of his career. But he's still going to win this one. He's like one of the older guys on the roster. And then we're going to have Patrick Peterson coming out and doing some smack talk to Landon Morgan, probably calling him old, washed, even though he just beat his buddy, so I don't know. So that's going to start a little rivalry there. Now we have a tag team match. So the Sharp Brothers versus, these are Scraps. They're 2 of the members from the Vultures, the lower level faction. Sharp Brothers, Canadian Brothers, Mark Sharp, and is it Jason Sharp? Something like that. Sharp Brothers are going to win this. And that's a qualifying match for the tag team titles, since there are no tag team champions yet. Okay, then we have a Heat promo. This is the Wolf Pack. So we have Alpha right here, White Wolf, Razor Blade, and Matt Black. So Alpha, he is the U.S. champion, so he's, probably saying something about that. And Razorblade, he's like the prodigy. He's Alpha's prodigy. And then White Wolf and Matt Black, they have a tag team called Black and White. So there's a Heat promo right there. And then we have Nick Steele coming out. Now, Nick Steele was in the match with Alpha and Jason the Barbarian Flores. And it seems that he is not done with him, so he is calling him out, possibly for another match at All Out War. All right, so now we have the Lazara brothers versus Thunder and Lightning. That's Max Thunder and Dusty Lightning. Um, the Lazara brothers, these are in the Marco's faction. They're his cousins, I believe, Tony and Vinny Lazara, and this is Louis Lazara, their uncle. Or is he their dad? I think he's their dad and Marco's uncle. But they are going to win that match, so it is going to be the Lazar brothers versus the Sharp brothers at All Out War for the tag team titles. Okay, then here we have backstage confrontation, so this is just setting up their rivalry. Sharp brothers, just like I just said. All right, now we have the main event, so this is a qualifying match for the number one contender to the European Championship, I believe. Yeah, German Giant. So the winner of this match will face German Giant at All Out War. So we have Jason Barbarian Flores, Felix Frost, Malachi Thorne, and Lee War. Now, Jason Flores, he's in the Gladiators faction. Felix Frost, he is in the Northern Lights faction with Frank Flores. All right, so have a fight here. Who is going to win? Let's see who's going to fight the German Giant at All Out War. Malachi Thorne. Malachi Thorne wins. He'll be fighting the German Giant. And then afterwards, we have a little bit more of a brawl, an aftermatch attack. Jason Flores will be attacking Felix Frost, who is friends with his brother. So, Jason Flores and Frank Flores do not see eye to eye these days, as you can tell. All right, that is the end of the first show. All right, here we are, week 2 of the Road to All Out War. So we are starting off with a promo battle. We've got Frank Flores, Marco Lazara, Felix Frost, and Jason Barbarian Flores in here. They're probably talking about how they got into their fight last episode, and obviously they're fighting each other. So they have some sort of promo going on at the beginning segment. Now the first match is Michael Wave versus Dave England. Dave England wins. Okay, and then we have a solo feud promo with Nick Steele. He is calling out Alpha. I'm pretty sure he wants a shot at the U.S. Championship. And Alpha is not happy with what he has to say because he comes out and attacks poor Nick Steele. Alright, now here we go. We have a backstage confrontation with Dave England and Ricky Blackbear. So not sure what happened there. They got into some spat. Dave England is a bad guy, by the way. Okay, now we have another match right here. We have Razor Blade versus Cody Duvall. And Cody Duvall is the son of Chris Duvall, who left the company. And Razor Blade is in the faction with Alpha. Who wins? I think I'm going to randomize this one because, alright, Razor Blade wins. I'll randomize every now and then, why not? Okay, now we have some smack talk. I will have Malachi Thorne do it for their match. Okay, and Mark Sharp versus Tony Lazara. Of course, they have the tag team match at All Out. What's it called? All Out War. I'm going to randomize this one because it doesn't matter who wins. Mark Sharp wins. Okay. Now here we have a promo battle. Patrick Peterson, Cole Howard, and Landon Morgan. So some sort of rivalry is brewing there with Landon Morgan and the Gladiators. Okay, and then for our main event, we have a big main event here. We have Frank Flores and Felix Frost, the Northern Lights, versus Marco Lazara and Jason the Barbarian Flores teaming up. So this is a good match right here. We are going to have the Northern Lights win, the good guys win today. And that is week 2. Alright, the third and final week before All Out War. So we have, starting off, we have Frank Flores and Marco Lazara doing some smack talk. First, Frank will go up, do some smack talk. These guys have a long storied rivalry in lore, of course, in the game they just started, but in lore, they have a long storied rivalry. They're basically 1 and 2 top of the company right now. So that's why this match is so big. It's a huge match, you know. And then Marco Lazaro gets his turn. Show off their promo abilities a little bit. They are both very good. Okay. Now our first match. We have German Giant versus Darius Creed, who is in the faction with Malachi Thorne. This is a non-title match, but it is a street fight. They've got weapons and stuff. It's a non-title match, but German Giant is going to win anyways. And afterwards, Malachi Thorne is going to come out and attack German Giant because he beat his buddy, his little protector, his dude, his follower, or whatever. I'm going to randomize this one. This guy's the leader of the Vultures, and this guy's the leader of Rage. Named it after himself. So 2 little faction leaders right there. Alright. Good job. Okay, then we have a promo battle. Alpha and Nick Steele for the United States Championship they're talking about. That's my cat. So now we have a tag team match. White Wolf and Matt Black. Black and White are called. They're part of the Wolf Pack. They're going against Kyle Grayson and Jay Prince, who are in Rage, and we are going to have Black and White win this one. That's a normal tag match. They're not in the championship match yet. Okay, now for our main event. I feel like this has been foreshadowed for a while. We have Landon Morgan versus Patrick Peterson. They're fighting for the main event. They've been beefing these past few weeks. Landon with the Gladiators. So we are going to have a shocking upset. We're going to have Patrick Peterson beat the legend Landon Morgan. Patrick Peterson is going to win. Is a young up-and-comer. Big shock here, beating Landon Morgan, a storied veteran. And afterwards, they're just going to be mad disrespectful. Cole, the Hammer Howard, is going to attack Landon Morgan. He's laying on the ground after he just lost the match. He's already lost a lot, you know. Okay. And then we're going to have a surprise. We're going to have Lee War come out and save his mentor, Landon Morgan. So Lee War is going to come out and fight back, setting up a tag team match at All Out War. Alright, here we are. We have All Out War 1999. And we got Frank Flores, Marco Lazara, Dave England front and center of this beautiful poster. I love how the game does this. But yeah, we're just going to get into it. Alright, the first match up we have Alpha versus Nick Steele for the United States Championship. And it is going to be a great opening match, and Nick Steele is going to win. He's going to win the U.S. Championship from Alpha in an absolute banger of a match. Next, we have Ricky Blackbear versus Dave England. Now, this is kind of just a random feud. They both didn't have anything to do, so I decided to have them fight each other, and Dave England wins. He is a top star. One of the biggest heels in the company. I'll try to say who's heels and who's faces because I notice I've been saying that a lot. Okay, so the Sharp Brothers, they are the face team, and Lazara Brothers, they are the heel team, part of the Mafia faction with Marco Lazara. So this is for the Tag Team Championships, and the Sharp Brothers are going to win. Sharp Brothers win. They are the new Tag Team Champions. Okay, next we have a street fight match with Felix Frost and Jason the Barbarian Flores. So they've had their 2 top stars. They've been duking it out these past couple of weeks, and they just need to blow off some steam, if you will. And Jason Flores wins. He beats Frank Frost, and he beats him bad. He hits him. He puts that freaking hammer through his head or something. Alright, next up we have a big match. This is a TLC tables, ladders, and chairs match for the new International Championship. This is sort of a lower a lower card championship, so some, lower down people get some chances. Ones to look out for in this: Alvador Rage, Razor Blade, Randy Flowers, Ricky Flowers or Randy Flowers. I think Randy Flowers. Look out for. So, who? I actually don't know who's going to win this. Who should win this? So, Shane Montana. I'm going to pull out a completely out of nowhere pick. No one was expecting that. The leader of the Vultures wins it. And in an absolute banger of a match, dude. They loved that match. The people loved that match. So we have a new international champion. Okay, next up we have, highly anticipated match. The Gladiators, Patrick Peterson, Cole the Hammer Howard versus Landon Morgan and Lee War. So they've been beefing with Landon these past few weeks, and the Gladiators win. They beat Landon and Lee. Okay. Now here we go. Another anticipated match for the European Championship. German Giant versus Malachi Thorne. German Giant wins. And now we have the main event. We have a last man standing match for the World Championship. These are two lifelong rivals. Frank the Great Flores versus Marco the Boss Lazara. And whoever does not get up loses. AKA the last man standing wins. And the last man standing is Frank. Frank the Great Flores continues his reign, beating his rival, his biggest rival, in the main event of All Out War 1999 in an absolute classic of a match. And here is the Wrestling Spectator newsletter. I'm going to scroll through this in case you want to read it. I'm not going to read this, but it is all there for you to read if you want to keep track of the rest of the world. So here we have all the matches, very well received show overall. And as you can see, there's special talent requests at the end of every month that it does, so there will be different random events. And as you can see here, RTW, Real Technical Wrestling, is offering a good chunk of change from Malachi Thorne. I'm not going to take this. I want to keep Malachi Thorne for a little bit longer, so I'm going to decline that. Alright, so Mark Sharp wants to join the faction Rage. So that is Alvador Rage's faction. That is a really random one. I'm going to say no to that, because that's really random. He doesn't really fit into that faction very well. Sorry, buddy. Cannot join Rage. Alright, but here we are. This is... I'm just going to do a little overview of the current landscape of the popularity of everyone. You can look at all their character sheets right here. I think I'll do this at the end of every video. Run through everyone just so you can, if you want to pause it, you can always pause it and look at everyone's stats, and they are ranked popularity, top being most popular, and then you move down. So here, boom, boom, boom. Sorry, I'm going a little fast. Again, pause it if you want any information about anyone. It's all here. It's all tracked in the game. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Alright, so that's everyone on the roster currently. Frank the Great Flores, of course, at the top spot. Marco Lazar still hanging on to the number 2 spot. Maybe he'll come back for revenge. Who knows? We'll see next video. And I'm going to try to do one of these every month. Every week. So maybe every Friday I'll try to upload a video. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this first episode. It went pretty well. It wasn't too hard to record, edit, anything like that. So yeah, see ya.